the yellow star up here, we associate that a lot of times with Nazis and with Germany, World War II. When they made the Jews put these patches on their clothing, well, that's not where it originated from. It didn't start there at all. It started with Islam. It started with the Pact of Umar. He said that Christians and Jews had to wear particular colors in their clothing and were forbidden to wear other colors in their clothing. And one of the things they had to do to distinguish themselves so people could see them coming and going on the road was where the Jews had to wear a yellow patch, Star of David, front and back, so that when Muslims saw them coming or going, they would know that they were allowed to abuse them, shove them into the mud, knock them off the side of the road, do anything they wanted. The Jews could not defend themselves. If they did, their entire community could be wiped out. I mean, literally wiped out. That's where the Star of David comes from. I mean, the yellow patch that they wore. The purpose of all of this was to make life so unbearable for non-Muslims under these rules and regulations that they would just convert to Islam because it's just easier. You don't have to be subject to death at a moment's notice anymore. You get privileges in society. You're not a second-class citizen anymore, or worse. That is the whole point of those kinds of rules and oppression, to make people want to convert because it's just easier. And for your children. All right, I want to talk about Europe a little bit because Tom covered a great deal of the United States, and now that we've got that sort of basis down about Islam, I want to talk about what's happening in Europe because, again, as I said, I think Europe is 5, 7, maybe 10 years ahead of us in terms of where they're going and in terms of the advance of Sharia Islam on the continent. Now, anti-Semitism is one of the hallmarks of the advance of Sharia Islam anywhere. And so in Europe today, unfortunately, and for many years now, we have been seeing a resurgence of anti-Semitism across the continent. It is not just the ones you might expect, neo-Nazis or skinheads. It is very often Muslim immigrants to these countries which are leading this kind of campaign of anti-Semitism. A little flyer at the bottom is an example from Copenhagen. Just a few examples of things that are going on. In British schools, in some places they have simply stopped teaching about the Holocaust. They don't teach the Shoah anymore. Why? Because they have so many immigrants in their classes, children from immigrant families, Muslim families, that they complain to their parents. They don't want to hear about the Holocaust. And the parents come back and complain to the school, to the principal, to the school board. And so rather than put up with all the complaints, they just took the teaching about the Holocaust out of the curriculum. Here's a picture of Kristallnacht. You may know what that was in Germany. It was the night that the brown shirt thugs of the Nazis fanned out across Germany and attacked Jewish homes and businesses and synagogues. This is a picture of one of the synagogues burning. Kristall in German is glass, and Nacht is night. It's the night of the glass. In other words, the night of the broken glass, really. That kind of thing is happening again. Attacks against synagogues, attacks against Jewish cemeteries, defacing, graffiti, and that sort of thing. A few examples here. This is oddly, I mean, just very strangely, what they do is they equate now Jews and the Jewish presence in Europe with Nazis. I mean, they're basically calling the Jews Nazis, if you can even imagine how upside down this is. But that's why they are painting swastikas on Jewish homes and businesses like this one, a little shop in, where did we say that was? Sweden? Yeah, Sweden. Here is Italy, and you might see in the middle here this word Yahud and Kafir. Kafir is infidel. Yahud, of course, means Jew. So that is the graffiti on that window there in Italy. Here is a wall with graffiti in Britain. You might see over here this word in red, these words, kill Jews. That's in Britain. Again, it is not just about anti-Israel or anti-Israel policies, let's say. It is very distinctly anti-Jewish and anti-Semitic. You know this because in some of the demonstrations, like let's say Amsterdam, they're marching down the street chanting Hamas, Hamas, Jews to the gas. Okay? That is not a legitimate protest of Israeli policies, which are perfectly legitimate to criticize if you so wish. This is about Jews specifically. Jews to the gas, meaning to the gas chambers. Here is France. Again, the comparison to Nazi Germany. Gaza, pire que Auschwitz, meaning that Gaza, when Israel went into Gaza a couple of years ago, after all the rocket and missile attacks, to stop them coming against Jewish towns and cities, that was worse. Going into Gaza to stop the attacks was worse than what happened to the Jews in Auschwitz. That's what they're saying here.